Let me ask you something. You may have heard about EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies, before, but have you heard about their negative effects on your health, testosterone, sperm count, and other hormones? I didn't think so. So in today's video, we're gonna be exploring EMFs and other similar things which can have a negative effect on your overall health. So, what are EMFs? EMFs stand for electromagnetic frequencies. So basically, every single wireless device you have, like your phone, your AirPods, or computer mouse, they all send out little invisible waves called EMFs. This is how they communicate with each other, and Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and so on. So these invisible waves are actually very harmful to you because they can cause a lot of negative things in your body, such as oxidative stress. This is like when EMFs enter your body, because you're made out of water, right? And water attracts electricity. So these electromagnetic frequencies, they damage you because they cause cellular and DNA damage to you. So this is the same reason as why you don't want to keep your phone in your pocket. Well, it's similar really, because when you keep your phone in your pocket and you have mobile data, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, hotspot, everything turned on, electromagnetic frequencies, we're just gonna call them EMFs from now on, they all go outside of the phone, and they also go inside of your body because your phone emits them in a 360-degree direction. So they go inside of your balls, and then they destroy your sperm as well as your testosterone, therefore, because these frequencies, they kill sperm and they make them unable to move. And also your phone is very hot, so your phone is going to warm up your balls as well, and we all know that heat kills sperm, kills testosterone. This is why when you go into the sauna, for example, you want to have an ice pack with you and put it on your balls, because heat damages sperm and also your balls. This is why your balls are outside of your body and not inside, because they need to be cooler than the rest of your body. So actually, EMFs have been linked to cancer as well. You see, the US EPA and the World Health Organization note that extremely low frequency fields are classified as possibly carcinogenic. So there can be a link with frequencies, EMFs, that are linked to cancer. So look out for this, especially when you're pregnant. You want to have as low exposure as you possibly can when you're pregnant, because that can damage your baby, as well as other hormone disrupting chemicals such as microplastics and so on, because they all are going to have a negative effect on your baby. So what are some ways that we can prevent EMF exposure in our life and therefore improve our hormones, our fertility, and our overall health? So one of the most obvious things that I've already talked about is never keep your phone in your pocket, because that is gonna send out EMFs as well as heat. It's gonna heat up your balls. So just hold it in your hand, or put it in a bag, or always carry a side bag with you or something, because every centimeter matters. 1 centimeter away from your balls is like 10 times better than being closer, because electromagnetic frequencies, they spread out, so they are weaker and weaker the further you are. So just keep it in your hand, or when you're in a dangerous area, like you're afraid that it's gonna get snatched out of your hand, just put it in your bag, or carry it in a side bag. Also, you want to have wired earphones, because wireless earphones have actually been linked to certain problems with your brain function. So just switch them out for wired ones. Same thing when you're home. You want to switch out as many devices. You want to switch them over to Ethernet instead of wireless internet connection, because when you're going to be sitting next to your computer, it's going to be emitting very high EMFs. Just how many devices you have there. Also switch out your mouse and keyboard for wired ones, your earphones, your headset as well. So this is gonna reduce EMFs by a lot when you're at home. Also, you never want to be charging your phone next to your head when you're sleeping, so just put it somewhere across the room, or get like a power outlet and put it in that. Keep it on the table. So just keep it as far away from you when you're sleeping. Also at night, obviously turn off every function on your phone except for sound for your alarm. Turn on airplane mode as well, because when you're in an airplane, you're supposed to turn on the airplane mode, because all the EMS from your phone, text messages, calls, and so on can disturb the plane. This is why you have to turn it on an airplane, because it can disturb the plane and cause problems with it. Same thing goes with your body, so just turn on airplane mode when you're sleeping. Even during the day, I have it turned on most of the time when I'm home. I just turn on Wi-Fi when I need it. I turn Wi-Fi off when I don't actually use my phone. So keep it that way because it's going to reduce EMFs massively. Also, talking about airports, when you go to an airport and they ask to scan you with an x-ray, ask if whether you can be patted down instead. So they're just gonna search you, they're gonna pat you down. And because these x-ray machines, just imagine how much EMFs are in that, because they blast through your body and they see if there's nothing inside of you like drugs, weapons, so on. So ask to be patted down instead. It's not always gonna work, but you may save yourself a lot. This is why a lot of people have jet lag or stuff like that after they get off a plane, because those electromagnetic frequencies really blasted them a lot. It's almost like radiation. Well, actually X-ray, that's radiation in itself. So this is also an airplane that is full of EMFs, you know, all the radio signals. Also it's a metal tube, so the EMFs stay inside, shit like that. So after going on an airplane, I recommend you reset your circadian rhythm. We're gonna talk about circadian rhythm in a minute. So circadian rhythm is basically like your body's natural alarm clock. Like when it's dark, it knows to get tired and go to sleep. When it's bright outside, it knows to wake up and stay active. We're gonna talk about this in a second. Also, when you get off the airplane and you're on vacation, I recommend you do grounding, and you do grounding at home as well. This is when you go outside and you put your bare feet onto the ground, onto grass, or it's even better when you're in a sea or in a lake or something, because when you're in water obviously is very conductive and you want to conduct those electrons from the earth. And when you're in the sea, that has sodium inside of the water, salt, and that attracts even more of them, so it's gonna be way better for you. But this is just a minor thing, you know. Obviously you should cut out EMFs before you do grounding. That's like obvious. Same thing with microplastics. First thing you do is throw out the plastic water bottle, and only then you go to the sauna to sweat it out and so on. But you know, you can do both at the same time. It is just kind of like an oxymoron, you know, to, for example, be going to the sauna while drinking from a plastic bottle, like you're doing a whole lot of nothing. So same thing goes when you're on the phone, when you're calling someone. And so never put your phone to your head when you're calling someone. Be on loudspeaker. You know, it's not always going to be possible, like when you're in public transport. Yeah, I get it. But just be on a loudspeaker, because you don't want to put your phone next to your head at all. Same thing with wireless earphones, because they emit EMFs into your brain, and that is going to lead to oxidative stress, DNA damage, shit like that. So just be on loudspeaker, be like a fucking migrant. You know what I'm saying? So now let's talk about things that are similar to EMFs, but they're not really EMFs in and of itself, but they correlate. So first thing, blue light. So when you're on your phone and you have blue light turned on, basically the default setting, what you're doing is you're suppressing melatonin production at night, for example. So you're gonna have a way worse time falling asleep. You're suppressing your circadian rhythm that way, because you're lowering melatonin, as well as, for example, at night when you're in your bed and you're looking at your phone and it's at full brightness, you're blasting yourself with a lot of light. So you're basically destroying your circadian rhythm. You're not going to be able to fall asleep. You're fucking it up because your body thinks it's daytime, obviously, because of the light, right? So you're not going to be as sleepy. You're going to have worse sleep overall. So what I recommend you do to countervent this is just to put everything on reading mode. Your computer, your phone, your fucking Amazon Kindle, everything on reading mode. Reading mode, I think it's called, is when your phone or any device is sort of like more yellow instead of blue. So this is like for eye safety. I think it's called like eye safety or some shit. This is gonna obviously improve your eyesight by a lot, also reduce blue light by a lot. What I also do 99% of the time is I put my phone onto black and white. You do this in the color settings and just choose black and white. And this is to reduce dopamine, but also blue light. And we're gonna talk about dopamine in the next section. A lot of blue light exposure can worsen eyesight. Everyone knows this, right? When you're looking at your phone, you're gonna lose your eyesight, or it's gonna become blurry, shit like that. And that is actually, there has been research done on it, because, you know, the cell damage risks. Laboratory studies suggest high energy wavelengths, 415 nanometers to 455 nanometers, can harm light sensitive cells in the retina. You know, I read this study and it basically explained that blue light can really damage your eyesight, your retina. So I just recommend you put it on reading mode and also black and white. Alright, so our next section is dopamine, the most important hormone of all. I'm actually planning on making a separate video discussing dopamine at length, but this is just gonna be a quick little section in this video. So what is dopamine? Dopamine is a hormone inside of your body, which is sort of like the reward hormone. So every time you achieve something, like you win a competition, you earn some money, you beat somebody in a race, your body releases a lot of dopamine to make you feel good. But the modern day and age has actually destroyed or used dopamine to keep you a slave. Basically, like for example, you would get dopamine when you see a pretty girl and you want to approach her and then basically have kids with her, right? But the modern world has bastardized this, and they introduce things such as porn, masturbation, and this is genuinely gonna fry your dopamine levels because your body hasn't really evolved in thousands of years, so it thinks the same thing. You know, it cannot really distinguish from, for example, porn or having genuine intercourse with a woman. So this is why I recommend you go on a dopamine detox for 1 to 2 weeks. Dopamine detox is basically a program or a protocol where for 1 to 2 weeks or even more or less, you literally don't do any of the dopamine things such as scrolling on your phone, watching pornography, shit like that. So just cut it out 1 to 2 weeks, and this is gonna improve your life by a lot. Because when your body is fucked up from all the negative dopamines such as scrolling, it's gonna have a way worse life because you cannot then really focus on anything you're doing. This is why you cannot focus in school, on work, in the gym, or even when you're trying to read a book, or when you're talking with your family, with a girl. This is why you cannot remain present, and people actually notice this when you're not present, and then they, view you as less of a person, because I think it's like 90% of people have a lower attention span than a goldfish or something. This is crazy because you cannot really pay attention to nothing, and then they keep you a slave, they keep you weak by, you cannot focus on work, you cannot start a business, anything. So what are some ways we can improve dopamine levels? So we have to make a distinction between instant gratification and delayed gratification. Instant gratification is when you do the things that feel good to you right now, like scrolling, watching porn, eating highly palatable, good tasting junk food, but they actually damage you or harm you in the long way. So you're gonna become fat, weak, infertile, so on. And delayed gratification is the things you do right now that feel kind of hard or uncomfortable, but they're gonna make you a better person in the future, like going to the gym, starting a business, reading an educational book, cold approaching a girl, and so on. So this actually correlates with what I'm about to say. So what I do to lower dopamine levels, the negative ones, by a lot is I actually turned off all notifications on my phone for the past 3 to 4 years. And basically, I never know when I get notifications because, bro, nobody is fucking searching for you. You're not a celebrity. You're not a billionaire. Brands aren't really fucking calling you every day, Gucci, to fucking sponsor you, right? So just turn off notifications, and when you want to talk to the person or you want to text your dad or something, just go on the app and text them that way. Same thing, 24/7 basically on airplane mode as well as DND, do not disturb, because I don't want to be disturbed. Like when I'm doing hard work, I don't want somebody to call me and then I'm gonna be out of the zone, right? And anyway, when you're in D&D and somebody calls you, they just have to call you twice and it's gonna ring anyway, if it's something really important, if it's not just your fucking friend trying to annoy you, right? So the best thing you can do to counter-prevent dopamine levels in your brain or to increase your attention span is actually something called meditation. Meditation is the action. A lot of people actually know this nowadays. And you close your eyes and you focus on your breath. So you close your eyes, you breathe in, breathe out, you focus on your breath. Some people say it just doesn't work for them, but that is because they're doing it wrong. The way you do it is you basically close your eyes and you focus on your breath, right? But then your mind is going to start wandering in the next 5 seconds, right? But then you have to consciously remember that your mind is wandering and bring it back to the breath work. So I meditate about twice a day, and it's not really for a lot. It's like together maybe 10 minutes, but I'm trying to increase it over time because I have been slacking off on this habit, I gotta admit, but it's a very good thing. Actually, 90% of successful people such as millionaires or billionaires, they meditate. So if you want to have something in common with millionaires and billionaires, this is the one thing you can have in common with them. It's not the business model, it's not the clothes you wear, the way you speak, your race, anything. One thing they all have in common is they all do some sort of breath work, such as meditation. So I recommend you do this every morning or every night or both for about, start with 1 minute twice a day, then increase it 1 minute 30, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so on. And genuinely, it's gonna be one of the best things you've ever done, because this is also gonna improve your mental health, and you're also gonna have way better attention span, and you're just not gonna be on your phone in the first place. So tell me if you want to see an in-depth explanation of how meditation works and the benefits of it. And this is basically it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you want to see next, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay productive.